Ho, 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 everybody. Yes, it's that time once again, or should I say, it's that most wonderful time again, to react to something Nostalgia Critic that is something Christmassy that he is reviewing. So, yeah. So that's right, guys. You read the title. You know exactly what it is that I'm reacting to this time. Something Christmassy that the Nostalgia Critic Doug Walker is reviewing. And, well, you read the title, of course, that being his review of A Christmas Carol from 2009, Disney's Christmas Carol. Robert Zemeckis, Jim Carrey, and so on. Yeah, so... And you've seen the movie, obviously, and you know, because who all is in this, and just, yeah, so, anyways. Yeah, so 2009's A Christmas Carol, from Disney, well, actually, because, I personally think that it's not really that bad. You know, I understand those that, probably, who find, the motion capture animation creepy and such. I totally get it, but for me, I mean, the motion capture animation, it doesn't bother me at all. Like say from this, the Polar Express, or any others like, well, like say Monster House or Mars Needs Moms, if anybody even cares about that. Uh, but yeah. But I think that what this film adaptation of A Christmas Carol by Disney and Robert Zemeckis and starring good old Jim Carrey had to offer, not bad at all. Of course, have to stay loyal and true to the original story from Charles Dickens' book/novel, and because of course, like sometimes, with any film adaptation of A Christmas Carol, there will be some slight tweaks here and there, and what specifically is going on with the story. You know what I mean, just, yeah. Well, because, clearly, and I'm pretty sure Doug is going to mention this, where there are some shots in this Christmas Carol film, motion capture animation, where they were made for 3D, and no doubt because, well, when this being shown in IMAX and in 3D, amazing to watch that in that way. Jeez, I don't know, because also 3D Blu-ray, because, like, obviously the same goes for that, I presume. Well, and especially since 2009 was technically a big year for movies, especially those that were coming out in 3D. There was this, DreamWorks Monsters vs. Aliens, and, James Cameron's Avatar, and other films, at that time, because when 3D was, at first, going big time. Well, and even say when a year later, like another DreamWorks animated film, being How to Train Your Dragon, how that looked in IMAX and in 3D. Yeah, so no doubt about it. I am expecting that probably Doug, aka the Nostalgia Critic. He's really not gonna have that much positive stuff to talk about in his review of 2009's A Christmas Carol. But, and obviously, yeah, I'm well aware, and I think, yeah, I have seen it, but it's been quite a while. Before doing a review of this as the Nostalgia Critic, Doug, just as himself, like, doing a review of this for Disney December, so, yeah. And by the way, because, yeah, one of the previous reactions I did of the Nostalgia Critics was the Polar Express, if you want to go check that out. Alright, but enough said. Without further ado, let's see what Doug Walker, as the Nostalgia Critic, has to say, for his review of 2009's A Christmas Carol. Beginning in 3, 2, 1, go.
This episode brought to you by Stamps.com. Why go to the store to get stamps when you can have them printed right at home for your convenience? Also brought to you by DoorDash, the app that brings you food you're craving right now, right to your door.
And also, almost forgot to say this, shout out to those who wanted to see me do a reaction to this. Yeah, you know who you are, and you know who recommended that I react to this. Well, I had, before, was considering reacting to it before some of you recommended that I react to it, so. And this being like a little oldie intro of the Nostalgia Critic.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy. Remember it so you don't have to. I've made no secret that one of my favorite stories of all time is A Christmas Carol. But weirdly, there's not a definitive film version. Everybody has one they like the most, but there's no Judy Garland, Wizard of Oz, or Bela Lugosi, Dracula. That one gold standard that everybody thinks about when you mention it.
True, yeah.
But make no mistake, everybody has tried.
Yeah.
Many of us feel like we can recite these lines in our sleep. We've heard them so many times. For me, the story is so good, I can watch a bad adaptation and still get something out of it. I think the idea is that clever and powerful. And one that sadly gets shit on quite a bit. Even if it is a little justifiable, is Robert Zemeckis'.
Well, yeah. I mean, it does stay true to the story, like where it goes.
Oh, Zemeckis. The 2000s are doing you hard, aren't they? With his over-reliance on CG effects to a point where he created a motion capture studio thinking this was the future of film. You can't blame him for being excited about what he thought was a new way of storytelling. But while 3D animation has found a groove that audiences like, while still leaving room to experiment that artists like, Zemeckis kept his one style that was becoming very dated very fast. Christmas Carol was the last of these films he directed, and everybody was ready to hate it. It looked like every other Christmas Carol that had been done before it, just with Beowulf graffitied all over it. Jim Carrey in the lead role. The advertising was trying to be as over-the-top and literally in your face as it could be.
The ghosts of Christmas past, present, and future.
And while yes, there are some moments like that, the film does actually have some subtleties, clever ideas, and even a few of my favorite moments in any Christmas Carol. In fact, the surprising problem wasn't how goofy and lighthearted it was, but rather how relentlessly dark it was. Almost like Zemeckis knew people thought it was going to be silly, so he borrowed a few pages from Hellraiser's script. I, of course, love a dark as hell Christmas Carol,
really?
But it needs to balance out and actually have me appreciate, Christmas. While it's very clear and balanced mucks that up, along with some other seemingly obvious problems, I will admit, I do kind of have a soft spot for it. That's a word. Yeah, sure, we'll go with that. It doesn't all work in the end, but the scenes that do, I think, are worth checking out for any Christmas Carol stan like myself. So, let's take a closer look. This is Robert Zemeckis' 2009's Robert Zemeckis' A Christmas Carol. Well, the film wants to throw you in hell right away. This opening of Marley dead and this creepy as shit Undertaker asking for a tip is enough to make anyone say fa la 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 la. And knowing some of the awkward animation in this, maybe he was supposed to look cute, I don't know.
That could be the thumbnail that I just did.
By taking the coins off Marley's eyes is a nice twisted touch, as the film almost says, alright, Christmas, we gotta work in some of that imagery here before we focus on environment on par with a dirty coffin.
Merry Christmas, Uncle. Humbug.
Years pass and we see Scrooge, played like I said before by Jim Carrey, talking to his nephew
7 years
Fred, played
pass.
by Colin Firth.
What reason have you to be merry? You're poor enough. What right have you to be so dismal? You're rich enough.
So Carrey is alright as Scrooge. For as cartoony as both
That's
his
your
design
opinion.
and the advertising was, I like he is nowhere near the most over-the-top Scrooge I've seen. Vinny, Grammar, even sometimes Kane I associate as being more over-the-top than Carrey. He's actually much more reserved than you would imagine in this role. Okay, I'm not gonna say subtle, but for all the flashy camera work and whooshing through whatever...
I guess you can make the exception for Michael Caine because Muppets Christmas Carol.
You think yourself ill-used, yet you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's
But Michael Caine was
wages for
still
work.
playing the role like,
Carrey is
you know,
surrounded by actors who
this.
make a much better Scrooge. Colin Firth, Gary Oldman, even Bob Hoskins. Oh my god, imagine Bob Hoskins as Scrooge. Okay, he's not the right age or weight, but I don't know, do what they did with Carrey with him. Change the image. Isn't that the whole idea of this animation? Because when these guys are acting, they're doing just that, acting. Carrey has to act, do an old man voice, and a British accent. which again is okay, but
Yeah.
it's just another filter he has to work through, on top of this half-real, half-not animation filter. Again, he's really not bad, but it is distracting when his entire supporting cast is much easier to find believable.
Good afternoon. I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you. Why can't we be friends?
Good afternoon.
Truth be told, I would have thought he'd be a better Bob Cratchit. I also think he could have knocked that role out of the park. Just imagine the Majestic, but not painfully trying for an Oscar.
Don't be cross, Uncle. What else can I be when I live in such a world of fools as this?
And yeah, I've talked about rotoscope and motion capture animation a lot in this series. It's honestly hard to remember what I've said without repeating myself. All I'll say this time around is I think it looks better when it's hand-drawn. Because that's taking the complexities of human movement and reducing it down to a line. How much of a human being can you capture with something as simple as a drawn line? It's interesting to experiment with and look at. This is trying to take all the complex movement, lighting, and textures of real life and make it look like the complex movement, lighting, and textures of real life. I don't know. I think I would have liked it better if they did it more like a painting. That would have been something a lot newer and challenged the eye much more. As is, it's basically Polar Express remastered. And you can hear my pros and cons on that in the other review.
Which I've already seen and reacted to,
you know the drill.
as mentioned.
Scrooge gives Bob Cratchit, played by Gary Oldman, the day off, which causes him to celebrate in this strange way. Did you like the way they animated the face of one of Shrek's babies onto him?
Oh, God. Doug.
Why does everything seem to happen to me?
Scrooge sees the face of Marley on his door, and again, give the film credit, it really does take time to build up the suspense. Maybe a little too long.
I don't know. Surprisingly, it didn't bother me when watching it. I mean, because the suspense, and then it gets
Must go faster.
getting...
Yeah, maybe if this wasn't the most popular thing ever written, I'd be more on the edge of my seat, but I think most people know what's coming.
It's all still ahead.
Jacob Marley enters the room, also played by Gary Oldman. And yeah, I'll just say it, I really don't think this scene works.
Really?
I don't feel a connection between him and Scrooge like they were old business partners. He's not really scary because of scenes of him spitting and whatever the hell this is.
Okay. That's my business.
He just took
Well,
one
the
of the film's most
Jaws.
famous lines and turned it into a silly side joke. And the laughs just keep on coming. The definitive version, everybody.
My
Jesus, Goofy had more class.
What do you want with me?
Well, even Patrick
The only thing I was
Stewart's...
kind of digging was he didn't look at him at first, which gave an otherworldly feel that was kind of creative and welcomingly uncomfortable. But then he looks right at him the rest of the time, so I guess that's ruined. Can you see him or not? Carrie gets a cute laugh here and there.
I was about to say, Patrick Stewart's version of Christmas Carol, like, Marley's ghost, like, the jaw
And they legit
did
make these
draw,
other ghosts
so...
outside pretty unsettling.
It is supposed to be kind of unsettling,
Kinda
isn't
jump
it?
out of me in the theater. But we get back to our
Oh,
uncanny
did it?
Valley Museum pretty fast when Carrie
Yeah,
plays
there
the
are a
ghost
few
of
jump
Christmas
scares in this.
Sultry child, neglected by his friends.
Okay, good things first.
What?
This design is unique. Literally making him a candle is crazy clever. Carrie playing all the ghosts, I also think is really smart. They reflect different time periods of Scrooge, so making them look like Scrooge does actually match up. Why other actors play other roles, I have no clue, but I thought this was a good choice. The execution, though? Good God!
Would your soul soon put out with your worldly hands the light?
Of hell? He sounds like asthmatic Lucky Charms, looks like Hades let his hair grow too long, and does a dance. I have no idea why, they just take time to show you can do a little dance. Turn to the left, turn to the right.
I don't know.
Clicks this time.
Here, put a touch of my hand there.
And
If you get an erection that lasts more than 4 hours, you're welcome.
fucking Irish or something.
Takes him back to when he was a little boy, and yes, when this movie wants to look beautiful, it can be exactly that.
Yeah.
Just ignore American Psycho as the flame from Animaniacs. That's quite pretty.
Let's go on.
One of the best moments in A Christmas Carol for me. I love him alone in this classroom singing.
Nice.
The animation, the camera work, the lighting, all of it's both really soothing and kind of unsettling. I think it's one of the few moments where the Uncanny Valley actually adds to the uncomfortable feel. I also gotta say, even though I love to see him as Scrooge, Hoskins practically seems born to play Fezziwig.
And he did play Fezziwig.
It's Christmas Eve! He hasn't been this happy since he heard Mario Brothers wasn't getting a sequel. But I'm sorry, what the hell's going on here?
It's Christmas Eve. That amazing British accent of Bob
Were
Hoskins.
they like, well, Mr. Toad played him in the other Disney version, so let's have him hop around like a frog freshly castrated. What are the rules of this world?
I don't know, and who
You mean
cares?
I
I don't
realized
care.
I don't think they ever give her a name in this version. And even though the romance between them is usually rushed in the story, this one still flies by too quick. Again, even Daisy at least gets a line in the Mickey one. Which, wait a minute, I just realized she's gonna date his nephew after him? Damn, bitch, that's vengeance.
Another idol
Well,
has replaced me.
It does lead to
they're
this
playing
nice
the
touch with
characters,
candle
like-
moment I missed before, and arguably
Won't go
my
into
favorite
full
over-the-top Scrooge read.
Words.
Carrie's been okay as Scrooge, but something about the way he says this line just cracks me up.
When it was made, you were another man.
I was
Oh,
Boy!
yeah.
I was a boy!
The boy!
Maybe in rehearsals that sounded chilling, but in the film, it sounds like Count Olaf showing off for his acting troupe.
I was
Imagine my surprise. Scrooge sees all of the faces of his past in the ghost, which I think works better written than visually. And he tries putting him out with his cap, but gets launched into the air. A little silly, but again, compared to the advertising where he shouts, "Humbug!"
Oh.
I can't say it's that bad.
Why did they keep that? Why didn't they keep that in the film? You know,
I had a dream, I ruined 2 Christmas classics. Nope, just one.
Well, that's your opinion, Doug. I wonder if he technically still feels the same way as he had when
Happy holidays
when
to you all.
Okay, pause it. I wonder if Doug still feels the same way as he did when reviewing How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I don't blame him, and I don't blame anyone else that is not into the live-action Grinch movie. But, granted, I mean, the film does has its fans, and I think it has grown a cult following, so, yeah, but, and you know, also, Jim Carrey being no stranger to, doing anything Christmassy, because, well, there's this, and also, of course, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and also, I need to look at some others, but I also know, like, even Sonic the Hedgehog 3 has a bit of Christmassy stuff to it, so, yeah. But yeah, so what he's talked about so far, and yeah, because by skipping the sponsor, we're up to 16 minutes and 41 seconds, and only 8 minutes and 41 seconds left. Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know, because some stuff that Doug has pointed out, as the Nostalgia Critic, yeah. Okay, so far he's had some positive things to say, like, say, the classroom scene with young Scrooge singing, and as well as commenting on, well, Bob Hoskins portraying Fezziwig in this Christmas Carol film adaptation. And I'd say so, because, yeah, it seems like Fezziwig is a role that was specifically, something that Bob Hoskins was born to play. Yeah. I mean, it's like how, maybe some of you would feel the same way too, like, it seemed like he was born to, like, say, also play the part of Mr. Smee in Spielberg's Hook. Don't you think? The fact that Bob Hoskins, if any of you know this, Bob Hoskins would once again play Smee, well, not the same Smee from Spielberg's Hook, but, this, mini series, well, it's technically a movie, but cut, split into 2 episodes. Is it Neverland? I think so, yeah, because where he does play Smee, and even Keira Knightley is in that too. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about by any chance. So yeah, but anyways, and Doug having some compliments on Jim Carrey in this, and that's good to see. But I don't know. I mean, it's like some things that he pointed out, like I don't know, the whole thing of Marley's ghost. I don't know, because didn't bother me. And besides, as I pointed out, because it's like, say, in Patrick Stewart's A Christmas Carol, there's one moment where Marley's ghost, like, the jaw drops and just, what is it? Speak up, man. And Scrooge having to help, because of the jaw. So, and speaking of which, because, yeah, a few Scrooges that he pointed out, like, kind of, like, going over the top or something, I don't know about, like, say, Kelsey Grammer, because, I've, of course, seen it, and I've done my review on it, if you want to go check it out. I thought Kelsey was doing pretty good as Scrooge. And as for, like, say, Michael Caine, well, I don't know, because, look, he is in A Muppet's Christmas Carol, but at the same time, and if you know this, Michael Caine, like, he told Brian Henson that he was going to play Scrooge serious and not do anything Muppetish, interacting with the Muppets, like taking them seriously as if they weren't Muppets. You know what I mean? Just, yeah. And look how his performance turned out as Ebenezer Scrooge in A Muppet's Christmas Carol. Fantastic. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, who's to say that, Scrooge, being a grouch, and he can't have his over-the-top moments and how he reacts to certain things. You see what I mean? And if you think about it some more, just, yeah. And some of the other actors that he pointed out, like, say, well, Gary Oldman, I don't know. I mean, Gary Oldman seems pretty good in this. And, yeah, Doug makes a point because it's a little bit rushed with the romance between young Scrooge and Belle. I don't know. I mean, technically the same went for Mickey's Christmas Carol as well as A Muppet Christmas Carol, because most notably infamously the song, an important song to A Muppet's Christmas Carol being cut out. With that being cut out, and how much we get of Belle in the final film, the theatrical release, there you go. But with the song number, Love Is Gone, yeah, the more we get of Belle, and again, like I said, that song number being a very important key to the film. And you know this, yeah, so why'd you have to cut it out, Jeffrey Katzenberg? It was him, so, curse you, but I don't want to, like, no hard feelings on Katzenberg, I respect Katzenberg. I'm sure you guys do too. But anyways, anything else? Because, well, yeah, and because what he also pointed out that I didn't really quite realize is that, because as was shown in the trailer, Scrooge being launched up in the air, and then, like, apparent, because in the trailer, humbug, like, why didn't they keep that in the final film? Because it would have been great. I mean, I don't know, but it's one of those things, and it's how it is, But anyways, all right, so that's it for what I've had to say, and I'll continue talking once it's over. Yeah, so all right, back to it. Time back in.
Scrooge is approached by the ghost of Christmas Present, who's pretty much Fat Bastard and Jesus and nitrous oxide.
Well then. Yeah, all the constant laughing he does.
I didn't think I could be out-weirded by Lumiere's equivalent of Freddy Krueger, but this half-baked living color character sure is coming close. Oh. Can I go now? Okay, yes, his acting is really awkward here, but there are some legit great moments.
And over the top.
Firstly, the way they
My
travel
mom
is
noticed that.
extremely unique. They stay in the house, and it appears to fly while they look down through the floor.
Yes.
That doesn't sound like that would work, but the camera movement, the animation, and even the music really make it a one-of-a-kind experience.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Almost like a virtual ride,
Another one of my favorite all-time Christmas Carol moments was experiencing this in IMAX and 3D. I'm really not kidding when I say it looked phenomenal. If they ever re-released it that way again, I'd see it opening night. The moment really was that good. When it's a dramatic moment, Carrie does this character okay.
Their deeds of ill will and selfishness
Oh, yeah.
at our age charge their doings to them, not us.
And again, I love feeding into the idea that these ghosts are kind of versions of him when he literally turns into him saying his own lines back to him.
If he is to die, he had better do it and decrease the surplus population.
Everything else is pretty by the numbers. The Cratchits are poor but happy, Tiny Tim looks sickly but hopeful, and everyone at Fred's party makes fun of Scrooge. They're not bad scenes, they're just what we've seen in a million other versions. But here's something new that's pretty insane. The ghost starts to fade, and he shows Scrooge the forgotten children of man, ignorance and want. Okay, that's in the original, but it is not in this crazy-ass way.
Are there no prisons?
This is a scene from Krampus, or a horror film parody of A Christmas Carol. Yeah, I think I just gave them their next one. Okay, Billy, you can stop hiding under the sea. Christmas Carol can't be scary longer than... What issues are you working through, Zemeckis? Oh, but don't worry. The scary part of the film
I love
starts
that.
now. Right? Wasn't this so well balanced out? Carrie plays the third ghost as well, which is kind of pointless seeing how he's just a shadow, but whatever, it's not a big deal. But as I know a lot of critics have pointed out, we get a totally pointless action sequence. He suddenly starts chasing him for a good long while just to show off some flashy effects that now look like a Christmas version of Dead by Daylight. This goes on for 5 minutes, and none of it is needed at all. You literally could cut it and miss nothing. Watch.
The night is waning fast, it's precious time to me. Lead on, spirit.
Yeah.
Would you even know they left out the essential moment of Scrooge as the ant bully?
Christmas pudding, no doubt.
What was the point of that?
I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool, the carriage chase. Maybe if they could have toned it down just a
When the
bit,
story
maybe.
returns, it does get back to form. Much of Christmas Futures, as you've seen in other versions, but we are given by far the best scene in the entire movie and easily one of the best moments of any Christmas Carol.
Yep.
Please don't be great.
When it's revealed that Tiny Tim did in fact die, Cratchit tries to keep it together and walks away from his family. He stops right in front of Scrooge, having no idea he's there, and lets out all his unfiltered sadness. Holy shit, is that brilliant.
Yeah.
Scrooge has nowhere to turn. He has to look at this raw emotion straight in his eyes. And because Bob has no idea he's there, he's letting out his deepest sorrow for what he thinks is no one to see. Standing ovation, a million chef's kisses. This scene alone justifies this film's existence.
I agree.
The following again is pretty standard. He sees his grave, vows to change, and big scary music plays.
And of course it has to be intense, right?
The one thing they do that's kind of fun is the shadow gets more and more three-dimensional as his time nears its end. Like the future is becoming more and more real the longer he keeps things the way they are. Again, there are some clever ideas.
Yeah. That's a nice detail.
Scrooge is returned home, though, and discovers it's Christmas Day. Again, it's all pretty standard, except for the maid thinking he's gone mad. That legit got a good laugh out of me.
Next year,
He's a
let's have this dinner at my house. I insist.
And once more, it'd be so easy for Carrie to go too big here, but he gets the proper amount needed. I buy it.
And Scrooge was better than his word. He did all that he said he would.
And then...
Wait, weren't we reading a book? Was Bob Cratchit Charles Dickens the whole time? What are the rules?
As good a man as the good old city ever knew.
I do love that his movement from right to left slowly wipes to the future, where we see Scrooge with Tim saying the final line. It's a tiny touch, but I love little moments like that.
It is a nice detail.
Everyone.
I like those, and I'm sure you do
And
too.
even though I can't say the big picture works, the little moments do go a long way. This Christmas Carol is sloppily ambitious. Of course, the story is dark, but it focuses way too much on that, giving us little time to appreciate the joyful moments in Lust for Life.
Yeah.
Which is ultimately the story's goal. It's not like a grown-up parody like Scrooged or something. It clearly wants to be the best one without understanding what just makes a good one good. But yes, some of the ideas and executions do really work and are incredibly clever and emotional. I'd be lying though if I didn't say the majority of the time I wasn't thinking of other versions that handled a lot of these scenes much better. So yeah, it is a little hard to give a final word on it. If you're sick of the story and seeing it everywhere, I don't think this is gonna win you over. But if you're a diehard fan like I am, I think you'll appreciate the moments that really do land in it. And, at the very least, be fascinated by the ones that don't. Yes, it's awkward, but if you know the story so well you don't mind sitting through a bit of that, you just might find enough special moments. I'm a nostalgia critic, I remember it, so you don't have to.
See you in the next one, Doug. Yep. Oh.
It's Cameo for Charity, and this month we're doing Toys for Tots.
Okay, and the charity shout out as always, and Toys for Tots, and oh yeah, because yeah, I've already played this before in a couple of past reactions to any Nostalgia Critic video, something Christmassy, because them showing the footage that was shot when they were doing the review of the Nostalgia Critic review of Christmas with the Cranks. Yeah, so if you know, you know. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that was the Nostalgia Critics review of 2009's A Christmas Carol. And yeah, that was a pretty good review, and with what Doug, as the Nostalgia Critic, had to say on Disney's A Christmas Carol from 2009. Yeah, I mean, as Doug's, like he said, because if at a certain point you've gotten sick of listening to the story so many times and with so many film adaptations, I don't know. But for me, it's no problem. It's no problem for me, and I'm sure maybe the same goes for you guys. And it's nice because, yeah, a good chunk of positive things that Doug had to say about this, some good moments that happen in this, especially since I agree, because the part with Scrooge, face-to-face with Bob Cratchit, the grieve and such in his face. Yeah, that was so good. And some of the other stuff he pointed out, just, because, say with the three spirits, well, most notably, what he had to say on the Ghost of Christmas Past and Present, and some of the performances, not really terrible, but still, but yeah, all that he had to say about, 2009's A Christmas Carol, understandable, but it's nice to see that, having a soft spot for it, as well as me, and any of you who also have a soft spot for it, and some good positive things that came from this, yeah. And it may not be one of the top best film adaptations of A Christmas Carol, but that's not to say it's god-awful. It's quite good, and anybody that did enjoy this, yeah, and do have a soft spot for it, like Doug, me, yeah. But yeah, just again, overall, the Nostalgia Critics review of 2009's A Christmas Carol, not bad. That was pretty good. Okay, so what about you guys? What did you think of the Nostalgia Critics review of 2009's A Christmas Carol itself? Anything you agree and disagree with, and if you guys have a soft spot for it, and any of the positive things that Doug had to say that you think so too, and some good moments that happen in this, yeah, and if 2009's A Christmas Carol is in your top list of favorite adaptations of A Christmas Carol, yeah. But again, overall, what do you think of the Nostalgia Critic video itself, and with what I've had to say, my reaction, and yeah, what did you think of my reaction? Leave comments and give this reaction video a like, as always. And so, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction to the Nostalgia Critics review of 2009's A Christmas Carol. More reaction videos are coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video / reaction. Take care, and peace out. Hub. bug.